stored in the heart.
Peace stored in the brain.
It's stored everywhere. Everywhere you look.
Okay.
There it is.
Alrighty. So,
Stored.
let me get my notes out so I remember some of this.
Sounds good. Time is it? 11:21.
You don't have any phone.
We just timestamped this episode. Looks like we can't put it out now. It's timestamped. They'll know.
Okay.
They'll know.
Okay. So, why don't you go ahead and introduce who your character is and where you're at?
Am I introducing myself to him?
No, just to me. You're by yourself for this first part.
Yeah, this is
Right
your intro.
now, I'm just kind of walking from town to town, trying to find my place in life, because I'm a little sad that my sister died.
Okay, what's your race and
What?
what is your profession?
My name's Malgeich. I'm a Tiefling. My parents abused me
Mm-hmm.
and my sister, and then they killed my sister, and I killed my parents, and now I'm a magic man.
You're a magic man. So like a mutant, by this stressful time in your life, it brought on your sorcery powers, right? You're a sorcerer?
I'm a sorcerer,
You're
and
sorcerer.
sometimes I cannot control my own powers.
Is that why
I'm
you
too
killed your
sharp.
parents?
Yeah, I kind
Was
of
it
meant
just
to
an
do that,
accident?
but
Oh. Wait a second.
that's what I told the police.
That's what I
It
told
was
them.
an accident.
It was an accident.
I can't control
Okay,
my
so
powers.
I don't even do magic.
since this
Yeah.
time of great stress in your life where your sister was killed, you have been looking for her, and more precisely, you've been looking for a way to find her. Now, your sister has had her own sort of troubled path, so you believe her to be in hell herself. Not somewhere that you think that she should be, not a place that she deserves, but really a place that seems just for her actions.
A place that I could save her from.
Right.
Because it's my fault. I could have killed him before he killed
I
her.
could have killed her as well.
Make sure you're talking about.
I loved my sister.
What was
She's
her
the
name?
only one I loved in my family.
What was your sister's name?
Her name was Shafana.
Shafana. Alright.
I hate these names.
We're tieflings. We have weird names. Get
That's
over
fair.
it.
Okay,
Alright.
what do you look like?
I'm nice cherry red tone.
A cherry red.
Not really cherry colored, but red. Kind of like a burning
Wait, why
coal.
did you say cherry
but not
red
like
then?
burning.
Burning coal color.
I'm kind of a reddish, darker red.
Why do you keep changing your color? Stick with one.
I'm almost like that color of that pouch.
There
Just
we
a
go.
little
You're
darker.
Definitive
A
color.
little darker mixed in.
Okay. Like these dice.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay, enough of that.
Oh my gosh.
Great, fantastic. And you
I've
have
got
horns?
some nice little eyebrows, but they're like horn eyebrows, but they're not like hard horns or soft horns. But I do have hard horns back here.
They're soft horn eyebrows.
What does that
Oh.
mean?
Alright.
Okay, so it looks like I got horns coming off for eyebrows, but they're soft. Getting
Oh
played
yeah,
with.
thanks for clarifying that.
Alright, good enough for me. Okay, so
hard black
you've been
horns back here.
looking
Alright.
for your sister, and you have heard this rumor as you're traveling about. You've heard this rumor that there's these deep, dark woods that have been known for their very malignant kind of, you can almost say actions, as they almost feel alive. So people always stay away from the woods, but they have been known to, as kind of a punishment for people. Only the most desperate are sent there, and only the most vile are sent into the woods to be disposed of.
Instead of inflicting self-harm, I choose to venture into the woods as it might help me find my sister while inflicting pain on myself.
Alright, fair enough. So, you come into this wood that you've seen, or really you're at you're at the precipice. You see this meadow that's behind you, and far behind you, you walked away from a town just over the couple foothills, but you come to this deep, dark forest where it doesn't take much before the light of day is completely snuffed out. Now, you yourself, you're also at this sort of, it's very overcast today, so there's not a real sunset, but you're at this kind of hour where it's just about to get dark. But in your strife and not caring really about yourself and what happens to you, you decide to go ahead and venture into these forests.
I would like to light a torch though, because actually just kidding, I can see perfectly fine because I have superior dark vision.
Of course, everyone
It's
has
all
dark
just-
vision in this game now.
Mine is superior.
Okay.
Though. It's
Okay.
better than everyone else's.
Great. Okay, so you are walking through this forest without any light because you're dark vision. When you notice this kind of yells from behind you, and they're like, it seems to be almost a mob of people. It's not almost a mob, it is a mob of people. As you turn, you see torches and pitchforks and people marching out into this kind of meadow right behind you, where you really came from. What do you do?
Can I see if they're shouting anything about a devil or something that might pertain to my skin tone?
Okay.
As these are they humans? Can I
Yeah,
see
they're
if
humans. Yeah, they're people.
Okay, as these racist humans are probably chasing me, but I just want to make sure, just in case.
Okay. Go ahead and roll a perception check to see what you think. A 6. Okay, you do notice that they're not yelling at you, but they seem to be yelling at someone else. You can't really hear what they're saying, but you do notice that they're yelling at someone else. They're shoving, like, ah.
I would like to wear my commoner clothes, which I am in, and kind of like try to hide my face a bit, just because they're probably racist in some way.
They're probably racist.
I would like to light a torch and just like kind of join in the back and just be like, ah, and pretend I'm one of them.
Okay. So you light your torch and you walk around pretending to be one of them. When you notice there's actually this man, he's wearing, actually I have a picture for you. Let's see, I thought I had a picture for you.
Did you draw me a picture?
He looks something like this.
It's Jesus.
Yeah, it looks kind of like Jesus.
With the short beard.
If anyone could see this. Okay, so, so he's got kind of this shorter beard. He's kind of this dark brown. It's a lighter brown. It's almost a blonde. But he's dark. He's got this cowl on, and he's being marched off and shoved off into the forest. These people are yelling things at him, like, ah.
Like crucify him?
They're bad things. Well, basically, because you've known this forest to be used as punishment, they're marching him off into this forest, and behind him there is a this little wagon that someone is pulling, and on that wagon is this large cage with a hound inside of it. This large black hound.
Fun.
Okay. So as they're marching, they get to the edge of this forest, and they're like, "You better start running." And they go and grab the cage, and they take the stake out of the top of it, and the door falls down, and everyone they back up from it as the dog slowly creeps
As
his
he's
way out.
slowly creeping out, I approach like the least like angry looking guy
Mhm.
and say, "Why are we doing this again? I kind of forgot."
He goes, it's like, I don't know, the mayor said something about it.
Do you know anyone who would know anything about this guy?
Probably the mayor. He
Is
goes
the
and he's
mayor
like,
here?
He's the one up the front.
I go up to the mayor. I'm like, hey, what are we doing?
He goes and he looks at you, and he's actually, you see his face turn this kind of, almost reflecting your red. It's very angry in itself as he's been yelling. He goes and looks at you. It's unspeakable. He goes and he rattles the cage, and all of a sudden the dog jumps off into the forest and chases this man down. So he starts running and booking his way off into the forest.
Okay, I'd just like to talk to the mayor again and say, can you speak of this unspeakable?
He goes, he turns to you. Who do you think you are? Look at you. You came from this forest yourself, didn't you? He goes and takes are you wearing a cowl? I forget.
A cow?
Are you wearing like a hood or anything?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay, he takes that and he pulls it down, revealing your horns, and a person next to him goes, "What is that, a devil itself?" He goes and pulls his pitchfork out, and he goes and he's like, "Back you!"
I say, beware my power, and I would like to just conjure up
Magic missile.
I don't want to use.
Magic missile.
I don't want to attack with acid splash. I would just like to conjure up the ball of acid in my hands, getting ready to use it.
Okay, as you do that, this guy stabs at you with a pitchfork. So.
Okay, that dirty.
18 definitely hits. Okay, you take. Dramatic. You take freaking 5 damage. So it goes and stabs you straight up in like the shoulder arm area. And it shoves you off back into the forest, and other people with their weapons and with their torches, they go, and you drop your torch actually. And
I'm not holding one.
oh, you weren't
holding that ball.
Oh,
of
okay,
acid.
yeah, you're right. It's on the ground anyways. Okay, as you do that, your concentration is broken, and the acid goes on the floor in front of you.
Does it hit the guy? That's
No, it just splashes on the
It's
ground.
got a. It's
They
got
kind of
a
back him up.
5-foot radius of splashing.
Okay, but you didn't throw it; it just dropped.
Is
Okay.
it effective?
Okay, anyways,
Even
no,
if we
it's
go by
like,
that logic, it should hit you.
it should hit you, and you burn.
No,
your
I'm
feet.
immune to
No,
my.
okay, enough of that.
Alright.
So, no, it did not hit him. He kind of takes his feet back, and he's like, ah. They go, and he's cursing at you, and his profanity is not utterable here, but everyone's yelling at you, and you see more people kind of coming, and they're stabbing, trying to get you to back off. You have 3 health points currently, so I would suggest taking action.
So, they're all mad at me.
They're all mad at you. They think you're a devil that came from the forest.
Alright, so I back up and I say, "This is my forest. Get out of me." And I conjure up the witch bolt and shock the guy. No, I shoot the mayor with my witch bolt.
Whoa.
So, does 18 hit?
Yes.
I do 8 damage as an arc of blue lightning sticks from my hands to him, electrocuting him.
Okay, yeah, it does that. It goes and like hits him directly straight in the chest. You see him kind of look like he's having a seizure standing up as every like muscle in his body all of a sudden tenses and it's like and with the sizzling of smoke that came off of his chest, he's and like a hole burned in his garments. He goes and falls back on the ground. It's like shuddering with this lightning. Everyone else around you goes and they start throwing things at you.
I yell again, "Get out of me!" as I throw down a
Choose
fireball
different words.
in front of me and run off into the forest.
Okay, you do that. It hits them, but you also take an extra.
I don't throw it
damage point.
on me. I throw it like.
No,
right
you take a
into-
damage point because people are throwing like rocks and things at you. And since you stayed, a rock goes and it hits you. It hits you in the head. Okay, you're running off into the forest. You're more so limping, and bleeding from your wound in your shoulder as you're running off into these forests. Okay, so
Can I hide? Like, am I? How
they don't
far
chase
away?
you. They're like running back from the forest.
I don't know if I should pursue him or not.
In the far distance, within the depths of this
Can
woods,
I hear
you
the
hear,
bok bok?
yeah, you hear the bok bok. You hear the bork of this hound, and more importantly, the screams of like, ah, get off, get off.
Okay, I would like to run to that man, to Jesus' aid.
To Jesus' aid. Okay, you
Good
run.
Samaritan.
Good Samaritan.
Think I'm.
You run through these woods, so dark to anyone else's eyes you would not be able to see at all, and you feel this kind of heavy darkness all around you. You get the sense that true evil lies in these woods. But you keep going deeper and deeper when you hear the voices and the barking as it grows louder and louder. And you see, all of a sudden, up in this tree, there is that same man. He's climbed this tree, he's hanging on from a branch. He's like, oh, help!
Is the like dog barking up the tree or something, or like?
Oh yeah, it's the
Where's the
dog's
dog
it's at the bottom. The dog it's a rather big hound. I'd say on all fours it stands about maybe 4 feet tall. It's really big.
Oh, snap.
I would like
Magic
to
missile.
scare it away using firebolt. So
Okay.
I shoot at it with fireball.
Do you have damage for that? Or do you shoot at it, or do you shoot
I
near it?
shoot at it? Does an 8 hit?
Let's see.
That seems a little low.
No, 8 does not. Okay, so you hit near it, hitting the tree, and it kind of spooks it for a moment as it kind of goes, and jumps away from the flames and runs off into the brush.
Awesome. So I would like to say, hello, I am your savior. Why are you out here?
He goes and it's like, what? He goes and he actually falls from the tree and lands on his back. He goes, oh!
It's only right to finish him.
It's only right.
I walk up to him and light fires in my hand saying, I am your savior. Why are you out here?
He goes and kind of scrambles back. He's like,
Huge god complex.
Yeah, that's right.
jeez, these your woods.
These are my words.
Get out
I
of
am your
me.
savior. Why are you here?
Oh, Lord. Didn't you see? I was run off by that mob. Didn't do
Why are you here?
Alright, you need to talk, be a little quiet.
much. I didn't even do that much. I just stole a sheep.
What color was the sheep?
It was kind of a off-white, I guess you could say.
You bastard.
Wait a minute. He kind of, like, he gets a little bit more comfortable and looks at you and he's like, you're not a devil. Are you a tiefling?
I am not the devil. I am not a tiefling. I am your savior.
He goes and gets other stuff. You're messing with me.
I make the fire go bigger around me.
He goes, my father was a sorcerer. You don't impress.
Ooh, these are my woods. I will end you.
Yeah, you'll end me. Right. Well, we best get going.
Can
before
I
that hound
see
comes
how
back.
hurt he is currently?
He's not hurt at all.
Oh, okay. I would like to throw
He's not
a
hurt after
fireball.
falling
He
down.
got the
on his
wind
back.
knocked out of him.
You
He's
know
fine.
what?
okay.
Actually, yes, I conjure up a fireball, like about
This is a
like 30 feet. Yeah, it's a cantrip.
Yeah.
I conjure it about 30 feet away from me and like throw it from the dark of the woods at him, just to show him like these are my woods.
These are your
So-
all right, roll really for charisma because you're trying to convince him.
Well, charisma is what I'm rolling for to hit, basically. So.
Oh, okay, no, roll for like persuasion.
Well, I hit him with a 22.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Let's see.
Oh, 22.
Yeah,
hits.
no. He rolling against it in a challenge. Yeah, he actually. Wait, you're not trying to hit him, are you?
Yeah, I'm trying to hurt him.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh.
So, he goes and let's see actually.
22.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, you definitely hit him. Yeah, because
And
you hit him full on. He goes and he kind of spins back. How much damage? Are you trying to kill him or?
I'm trying to bring him very close. 6.
That's 6.
6 fire damage.
Okay. Yeah, so you give him a good blasting. He goes and hits him right, kind of in the side, and it spins him around like he's twirling, and he lands against the tree. He's like, oh,
I shout even louder.
what the hell? But rather appropriately, you would say. And he's like, you're trying to fool me, and it's not working. Can we get on with this?
Can I
You
try
hear
to
off in the you hear
him more?
You hear off. It's not working. What your perception is? It's not working. He has a rather high charisma, and he rolled really high in that last roll. He matched you, and his charisma's higher than yours.
Boy, I freaking almost killed him.
Yeah, you almost killed him, but still, you're not convincing him that these are your woods. So, you hear this kind of rushing of wind, and this kind of deep rolling in the back of like your throat, kind of. And it doesn't sound like the dog, not like the hound at all. But you hear almost, it sounds more cat-like, if anything.
In the back of my throat?
No, in the back of, in
yeah.
the back of a throat. You
What?
hear like in the
Okay,
horse.
in the back of my throat.
It feels this dark presence, and you see up in the trees almost like this cloud-like substance reaching over and climbing up in the trees high above you. As it's looking down on you, you feel like something's watching you, something ready to pounce.
I tell the man, I did that because these are my woods, but let's go that way. and we kind of.
He looks up and says a few swear words, and he agrees and runs off in that direction that you pointed.
We run together.
Okay.
And escape.
Hopefully.
Try.
Yeah, okay. So you're running through these woods when all of a sudden this hound hops out of the woods right in front of your path, snarling right in front of you. He goes and it's about maybe 10 feet away from this man, and you're about, let's say, another 10 feet back from him. But this darkness has been following you in the forest. So you're stuck between this hound and this creature. And it's snarling, and it's coming closer, encroaching. And its back, hair is raised in this kind of... It's a very feral beast.
Self-harm or eternal death? I asked the man, "What? Can you do anything?"
It's like,
You said your daddy was a sorcerer, so can you do anything?
He looks at you. You see almost this kind of pain in his eyes, and he goes, "Nothing like that."
I ask him what his ancestry is, just in the middle of this.
In the middle of
this time.
He goes, "It's not exactly appropriate." He goes, and this hound is snarling, and it kind of begins to circle. When it goes, and it actually is barking at the thing behind you now. This man, he's like, "Time to go." And he actually runs around the hound to the other side. What do you do?
I want to, run around the hound.
Okay, you chase him. Okay, after him. This hound, it actually seems to stall
Well, I kind
whatever
of
this
want
creature
to,
is.
look back over my shoulder, too. Just
Okay, this hound just seems to stall whatever this creature is that's chasing it through this forest, this immense evil presence. But you hear kind of this yelp, and far behind you, even you with your dark vision, you aren't able to see what has happened, but you hear this kind of one yelp cut short, recognizing the dog probably died. But as you're running through this forest, when you see off in the distance this stone archway that seems so out of place in these deep woods.
Does it look like a safe stone archway, or is it just really run down?
It's a very old stone, but there aren't really vines or anything growing on it. It seems almost like a sacred place where nothing of the forest has been even allowed to touch it.
I go stand under the archway, and I'm like, "Boy, let's go over there, because that looks cool and magical."
You go through this archway, and it actually has steps leading down into this deep cavern, this area, and you hear almost this lapping of waves very quietly.
Lapping of waves?
Yeah.
Dude, what is it with you and waves today?
Waves?
Can I, see where the waves are coming from?
Yeah, this man runs in after you, and you go down into this long hallway, and it reaches out into this kind of...
Oh, so it's not just an archway.
No. It goes down into the ground.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, going down into this ground, this cavern underneath, you see the stairs, they go straight into the water. Almost like you would say like a loading dock or something.
Does it look like regular water?
It looks because of almost no light really. It looks like this
superior dark vision.
Yeah, because of no light though, it looks very very black, like a very soulless black. Nothing that you've seen before really.
I slow down a bit to see if the guy runs into the water.
Okay, he kind of goes and he stops. He's like, "Whoa."
I yell to him, "Are you gonna touch it?"
Yeah, maybe you first.
No, you.
No, you. He looks at you, and actually, before you, these waves that are gently lapping, they seem to come a little bit harder and a little bit stronger when you feel the surge of water begin to rush about the cavern. Holy cow, he still twitches in his sleep. The sound begins to rush up out of this water, and you realize it takes the shape, this form of a riverboat, something that you might have seen
on Harry Potter.
It's okay, like in Venice you might see a riverboat,
A gondola?
like a gondola. Yeah, you're right.
I hop in, maybe. As they hop aboard, my dude. Let's share this magic.
He looks at you a bit unsure. He's like, We should be doing this.
Yes, it is my forest. I've told you this before.
Okay,
I know
enough of
every
your
word.
forest. You're full enough of
I
yourself.
make another fireball in my hands and say, shut up.
He goes and he takes something from his hand and he goes, he throws it at you and your fireball goes out. He goes, are we done?
I cast a ray of frost at
Okay, you try to do that and actually it looks almost like this dirt charcoalish, but you're actually unable to cast anything. You do and it flickers a little bit and it's like,
You dirty bastard.
alright, are we good then?
Give me my magic back and we're good. Give me my magic.
You promised enough of
or
these forest
destroy
things.
the boat.
You destroyed the boat, yeah. Right, it came from the water. You don't think there'll be another one?
Nope.
You hear this kind of echoing behind you coming up from this forest. It sounds like that creature, that deep darkness. Has
I
come
tell
to
the
us.
man, give me my magic back or we're not leaving. I already lost my sister. I have nothing else to lose.
He goes, and in this fear, he goes, takes your hand, he spits in it, and rubs the dirt out of it.
It's Jesus.
Jesus. It's Jesus. He spits in your hand and rubs it out of it, and all of a sudden, little bits of frost begin to collect on your hand from the last spell that you cast. It's like, all right, fine. He goes and jumps in the boat, and all of a sudden, it begins to
I wipe the
slowly.
frost on his face while we're floating away.
He spits at you, and he actually bumps into this large figure that neither of you had noticed was standing there. It's a dark cloak about this figure. You can't really see even anyone inside of it, but
Is he facing us?
it's facing you. Yeah, it's just a darkness within him. He's pulling this large stick behind him, like a gondola. He's taking it and leading you down what seems like this underground river.
Say, yo, dude, is this the river of souls to hell, like in that Percy Jackson book I read?
Yeah, he doesn't even notice. He doesn't acknowledge you at all.
I say, yo, dude, this is my forest. Where are we going?
The man on the ground's like, "The hell's your name?"
What's it to ya?
It's like, "It's nothing to me. You know what? I'll be fine." He goes, and you're just traveling along this river ever slowly. The
I
force,
asked him
whatever
what
it was
his name
behind you,
is.
begins to, it stops. It's like, "I'll tell you mine if you tell me yours." A little bit of self-disclosure. It's what people that meet each other are supposed to do.
I tell him, all you need to know about me is that this is my forest.
He's tired of you. You get this kind of sense that he's a more intelligent person, and while he doesn't look very kind of upper class as one might be with his knowledge, he does seem someone that is he's got some good stats where those things come from. He's got high
Alright,
intelligence.
I'm just like, yo, Jesus, what's your deal in life? You chill or are you like a bad dude?
What's it to you? What's your name?
I tell him my name is Christopher.
Christopher. Right. Well, I'm Ferric.
That's a dumb name.
Yeah, alright. Fair enough.
Who named you that? Your dad?
My mom, actually. It's the name on their side.
So, what's your deal in life, dog?
It's my deal in life.
Dog.
Well, as of the last few moments, I've been running for my life. Before that, I stole a sheep.
Why are you stealing sheep? Your dad's a sorcerer. You could just make a sheep, right?
I haven't seen my dad in years.
Why not? Is he black?
Dear God, stop that. No, I haven't seen him in years because I ran away from home.
Yo, dog, me too. Sort of. That's chill. I do like the thing, you know. where
You take his hand.
the hand on his shoulder. Like,
Yeah.
Why'd you run away, dog?
Let's say my father wasn't happy when he found out I wasn't a sorcerer. It's been in our family bloodline for years.
Let me just tell you, my father wasn't happy when he found out I was a sorcerer.
And why is that?
I don't know, but he died shortly after.
Oh gosh. Are the two things related?
You gotta ask the police that question.
I don't reckon I'll be seeing them again soon. Do you know where we're going?
Probably to hell or something. That guy's a little creepy.
He kind of just looks up, and he didn't really notice him before either. He's just kind of, yeah, that looks about right. And as you're going, he kind of looks beyond you and sees up ahead in this kind of cavern. It grows this almost white light of sunlight. But as you make your way through, what's beyond is just that darkness again.
I say, hold up. I got 35 GP that you don't stick your hand in the water.
Yeah, I don't think I'll do that.
Got 70 GP, so you
Should've
don't
watched
stick
the
your hand in the
movie.
water.
So
What is
funny.
GP? We're filming.
Gold. I got 70 gold pieces saying you don't stick your hand in the water.
Yeah, alright. Show me the gold.
They show me your hand in the water.
I'll take the gold first. Mister, this is my forest.
Careful, I'll stick my forest on you.
I think we're a ways from your forest. As you look out, you actually notice that you're not any longer in this cave, but this river, it seems to go beyond the cave, and after this bright light, the nothingness beyond, you see almost this silver strand of water that just reaches out, this black water. All that you can see is a little bit of light refracting off of it as it goes out into the distance. Now, off in the far left and far right, and even above you, you see these little strands of silver, like thin white hairs. They're going parallel to you, and they begin to grow slightly larger and larger, and eventually, as you're going along this river, they connect all into one. Okay, so as you're going further, on this
Game
river,
engineers can't even make parallel lines. I
Okay.
say that to him, so he gets that I have human.
he goes.
I give him a fist bump while he does that.
All right.
Just-
Ah.
No, I say, hold up, wait, we didn't connect.
All right. Yeah. You see, kind of in his voice, he seems to be more scared of what's coming next because you begin to feel the heat radiating from the land beyond.
I have
And-
fire resistance. I only feel half the heat.
And the shadow of what looks to be porous rock and a bright red light from beyond is shining on it. Now, the blackness around you begins to fade into this dark red color, and you see little stars twinkling off in the night sky as they grow brighter and brighter, coming ever closer to you. You notice that they're comets, and this rushing wind sound as they speed past you and crash far off into the land beyond of this dark, cragged earth. And you're following this river as it slowly begins to come into place, and you notice the land begin to fade in around you. This dark abyss from beyond begins to fade into a sudden cliff that the river takes hold in and begins to curve off into the land, just as a normal river, still holding that black
Goes
water
along the cliff or
Yeah, so-
into the cliff?
into the cliff. It's like a dark river. It goes straight into what looks like a big cliff right here, and beyond is this large, hellish landscape, if you would.
Okay, I just whispered to the guy like, yo, are we actually going to hell?
That's what it seems.
It was your idea to run in here, so
It was
I
my idea to
blame
run in here.
you.
You're the one who called me over.
Dude, I am your savior. As I stand up and make the familiar T-pose. I am your savior.
You see him kind of rock back and forth. He's
I wouldn't use that name down here, if you know what I mean.
We're far
because
enough away from the gods.
You don't know, there's probably the bad ones down here, dog.
Bad ones. You know nothing of hell.
Nope. My sister's probably here. That's chill, dog. Did I tell you about my sister? Yeah, my dad killed her. Then my dad died shortly after we found out I was a sorcerer. Did I tell you that?
Mm.
Yeah. I don't know what happened to my
His
dad,
eyes
but-
kind of like blur over as they kind of look past you. He's like, "That's no."
I'm like, hey, do you want to die?
He faints in the boat. And as you're traveling along this river, you see little things off in the distance. They look like some sort of creatures scrounging about in the land, and you see far structures off in the distance as you're coming closer to them. But you're getting this sense of dread, like it might not be the best place to be going. And we'll go ahead and stop there for next time.
I got half of fire resistance.
I've got half fire resistance.
Do you feel that heat? I feel half.